Hello and welcome to this video, and here we're going to talk about how do I find a good managing agent for your investment properties. Before I begin, let me quickly introduce myself so you can see how I can help you. I'm Sharon Mashan. I work with Steve. He's my husband and business partner. We started investing in property in the early 2000s. Back then we didn't know anyone else investing and we didn't know anything about training courses, so we just went out and bought some property. Progress was slow as we just saved up enough money for a deposit when we could and then went to look for a house to buy. After a while we'd bought a few properties and we decided we had enough property to cover our pension plan, which is why we started investing in property when we did. We didn't want to be active landlords as we both had busy day jobs, so we just went back to building our career and the properties trundled along in the background. This continued really for a few years until the global recession impacted Steve's career in the car industry. He was offered a very good voluntary redundancy package which was too good to refuse. As a result of this, we went on to do some professional property training, and that really kick-started our property investing journey. We quickly built our portfolio now that we knew what we were doing. We attracted a joint venture partner to purchase even more property, and from that we created our own property management company to manage the properties we were buying so quickly, as in all honesty we simply couldn't find an agent to manage our properties as we wanted them managing at that time. This experience led us on to source properties, and we've helped investors based all over the world build their property portfolios too. We no longer source, but nowadays we specialise in managing high-end HMOs across the Northwest. More recently, we've developed a training arm to our business called the Property Management Programme. Our mission is to provide the information and education property owners need to avoid the many hazards we face in today's increasingly regulated industry. We want to help our fellow property investors fulfil their dreams of becoming a successful property entrepreneur. At the Property Management Programme, we have various resources available, including the Landlord's Ultimate How-To Guide, which shows you step by step how you can manage your own properties if you want to do so. So if you're new to property and you want to learn the ropes, or you're not happy with your current agent and you want to do the property managing yourself but not sure where to start, then we can help. We also offer an in-depth 9-month online training program so that you can be sure you have the confidence, knowledge and skills to manage your own properties effectively, compliantly and profitably. But we do know that self-managing is not for everyone. You might not have the time, resource or inclination at this point in your property investing career to self-manage. So that's why we have created this video on how you can find a good managing agent for your investment properties if you decide that's the way forward for you at this time. Let's start with the basics. There are some legal aspects you should check out first when doing your due diligence on a new agent. The first thing to check is the agent registered with the Information Commissioner's Office? Any business, sole trader or individual that receives or processes personal data needs to be registered. You can ask them for their registration number and then check them out on the ICO website, where there's a public domain register of everyone who's registered with the ICO. The agent's privacy policy should be available on their website, or you can ask for them to send you a copy. As the property owner, you have a right to have a say in which tenants you want to live in your property. You might want to ask your agent to share with you each tenant's application for you to make the final decision, or at least a summary of it, so that you can decide whether to accept them or not. Just a point to note here, if you are asking to see tenants' information, even if it's only you receive their name, phone number and email address to arrange access for future visits, for example, you yourself need to be registered with the ICO. Registration is only £40 per year and it is an annual charge, but then remember you also need to have your own privacy policy in place to share with anyone who asks to see it. The ICO website is very helpful with a quick questionnaire that will help you decide if you need to be registered, and then if you do, what policies and procedures you need. There are lots of templates you can download for free to help you get started. The next point to consider is you can ask your potential new agent to share their insurance documents with you. You want to make sure they have professional indemnity insurance in place which covers them for providing relevant professional advice and services to you. Did you know a lettings business who receives rent of £10,000 per month or more must be registered with HMRC under money laundering regulations? Now this is not likely to apply to purely lettings agents in the Northwest where we are. However, it might do in London. But if that agent also acts as an estate agent or a sourcing agent, then they will need to be registered, as they're facilitating the sale and purchase of property over this £10,000 limit. Registration can be done online, and you can check with HMRC yourself to see if the agent is registered. If a company trades without being registered, that should be, then this is a criminal offence. All agents now have to have client money protection in place. What this means is that the agent has a client account where rents are held separate to their day-to-day business account, and any money in that rental account is therefore protected. This is to help prevent theft and fraud by the agent. There have been cases in the past where an agent has stolen the rent payments they've collected. Don't just assume this problem is a problem in London, where monthly rent payments can be in the thousands. This has happened closer to home. This article is from 2017, when a Warrington-based agent siphoned off rents and deposits. You can Google this to find out more. Despite being found out and taken to court, she didn't have to pay any of the money back, as she was declared bankrupt and also avoided prison. So you can see that having client money protection is really the only way to protect yourself from agency fraud and embezzlement. Obtaining client money protection can be through being a member of a professional body such as Arla Property Mark, or through a company called Client Money Protect, a standalone service aimed at smaller agents. Agents should have the logo displayed in their office window or on their website to show membership. There are several other organisations through which agents can obtain client money protection too. Ideally, go to the organisation the agent has identified they're a member of and check their registers to make sure they are actually covered by this important protection. Another legal aspect to check out is the agent registered with one of only 2 government-approved redress schemes? At the moment, only the Property Ombudsman, known as the TPO, or the Property Redress Scheme, known as the PRS, operate in this space. There was a third operator, but they withdrew from the market quite some time ago. You just need the trading name of the agent, and you can go to the appropriate scheme's website to check the agent is registered, or ask the agent for a copy of their membership certificate. The main aspect of being part of a redress scheme is that the agent will have a formal complaints procedure. This is a requirement of being part of the scheme. It also means that if the agent doesn't deal with your complaint to your satisfaction, you can escalate the complaint to the governing body. Unfortunately, if an agent is not a member, although they would be breaking the law and could be fined up to £5,000, you as a customer would have no further path to redress, as the governing bodies do not cover non-members. You can ask to see an example of the agent's management contract, and I suggest you do this. Read it in detail before you sign anything. I've come across people who have appointed an agent without reading the contract, and then find when they want to end the agreement there are punitive charges such as 2 or 3 months rent payable, or a contract exit fee, or they need to give 6 or even 12 months notice. I've also seen a clause where if the tenant wants to buy the house, the landlord is charged an introducer's fee by the agent. In my view, these clauses are unreasonable and should be challenged. When you're considering buying a property, consider what exits you have. Well, the same should be true with any other type of contract you enter into. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Ask for clauses to be amended, and don't be afraid to walk away if you're not happy with the contract. Be clear as to whether there are any other charges imposed in addition to any headline rates you're given, and check exactly what service is included. For example, a tenant fine fee may be stated as the first month's rent, but what exactly does a tenant fine cover? Does it include out-of-hours viewings, for example? If you're looking for a tenant who's working, they'll often want to view the property in the evenings or weekends. Is this something the agent offers, or do they only make viewings appointments during office hours as standard? What level of vetting and following up of referencing does the agent do as standard? Is the referencing outsourced to another company with a simple pass-fail, or do they carry out a much more detailed financial viability assessment? Will the agent take a deposit on your behalf, or do they have a policy of not taking deposits? Will the agent protect the deposit on your behalf, and if so, do they charge you for this? Does the tenant fine fee include the agent setting up the tenancy itself and using their standard AST, or do you need to provide your own contract? Make sure you understand and are happy with the tasks and activities they will be doing on your behalf. If you're considering full management, again, ask questions to clarify what is and isn't included. You should be able to obtain a copy of the full schedule of charges, or the charges should be listed in the management contract you've already asked for. For example, we include smoke detector testing in HMOs and initial maintenance diagnosis within our management charge, but I know other agents charge extra for these services. Also, we don't put any commission on any contractor's work, whereas most agents will probably add an overhead to each and every invoice. How they handle contractors and any commission should be set out in the contract. Take the time to think about what level and type of service you want from your agent. If you're unhappy with your current agent, take time to sit down and think and identify why that is, and make sure any new agent you're considering offers the level of service you want. Don't assume the agent knows what you want or that all agents operate in the same way, as then I can assure you they don't. In talking to people, it's apparent, for example, that not all agents are as diligent as we are in carrying out referencing checks. We discuss with the client what type of tenant they want, whether they'll accept pets, for example, and then only put that type of tenant in the property. In the past, I've had people approach me at networking events to ask how they've ended up with tenants claiming benefits when they made it clear to their agent that their mortgage and insurance policies did not allow this type of tenant. I've had feedback from investors that their agent contacts them for every minor maintenance job and the investor often ends up dealing with the problem themselves. If this is happening, I would suggest this isn't really a full management service or the passive income you're looking for. And it never fails to surprise me how many people complain that their agents don't pay their remittances on a consistent basis month to month. Depending on how the agent operates, they may remit the rent within a few days of receipt, or they may have a monthly date by which they should remit the rent. Yet many agencies don't seem to have a robust system in place to ensure their clients receive the rent consistently, together with detailed statements on a regular basis. And to be honest, this was one of the key reasons why I ended up setting up my own property management company, as I was just fed up of chasing the agents for the rents I was due. Do talk to the agent and make sure the service they offer matches the level of service you are actually looking for. Once you have all the legal bases covered, you want to move on to values and personality. Hopefully you'll have a long-term relationship with your new agent, so you want to make sure they're on the same page as you and that you get on. As we can't meet face-to-face at the moment, arrange a video call so it's as good as face-to-face under the current circumstances. This is much better than just a quick phone call, so you can pick up on their body language, see how they react to certain questions, as well as their tone of voice, to gauge how you'll get on. And have more than one call as well. You want to be building a relationship over time. You should already have a good idea of your tenant avatar. If you don't know what this is something we teach how to create in our Landlord's Ultimate How-To Guide and in detail on our training programme. But essentially, you want to be asking the agent what type of tenant they're looking for. If this is different to your ideal tenant, make this clear and see if the agent will work to your guidelines instead. Many agents charge a month's rent for a tenant find fee, so they'll just want to get a tenant in quickly to get the fee if they're doing a tenant find only service. However, this doesn't always result in them getting the best quality tenant for you. Especially if you're doing a tenant find only, there's no incentive for the agent to work to their guidelines. They will not have the hassle of dealing with a less than ideal tenant during an ongoing tenancy. You will. Ask the agent you're looking into if you can talk to some of their existing clients. Getting feedback from other customers is a great way to find out more about how the agent operates and how satisfied existing customers are. There may be reviews on their website or other review sites which can help you get a feel for what their customers see as their strengths, but these could be somewhat out of date, and talking to customers now directly gives you the opportunity to ask specific questions. Obviously, there are some GDPR issues to be aware of here, so the agent can't just give out their customers' contact details. But what they can do is, with your consent, pass your details on to their customers and ask those customers to contact you if they're willing to do so. And if they are willing to do so, then I would suggest that that's a really good sign that the agent is doing a good job. Get involved in local property networking groups and ask for recommendations for local agents, or ask for feedback on those you're specifically looking into. It often takes a little time to make connections through a new network, so don't expect chapter and verse from people the first time you meet them. It may also take some time to find people with experience of the specific letting agent you're considering, so ask around and keep asking. In summary, there are quite a few things you can do to check out any new agent you're looking to work with. Remember, the first things to check are the legal aspects, including registration with the ICO and HMRC for money laundering. Make sure the agent has the right insurance in place and that they're a member of Client Money Protection and a member of a government-approved redress scheme. Then you can move on to reviewing the management contract before you engage them and clarifying what their level of service matches your expectations. Perhaps this is the most important aspect for your satisfaction with any agent, is that their service matches your expectations and that their values and personality are congruent with yours. Consider if you like the people you'll be dealing with. Do you have a good rapport? The whole purpose of having an agent is to make your life easier. If you're unable to get hold of them when you've got questions, or they're putting the wrong type of tenant in property, or contact you to sort out every minor maintenance issue, then I would suggest this is not the agent that's ideal for you. At the end of the day, you remain responsible for all the legal aspects of being a property owner. So if you're not going to be self-managing, you want to ensure that you find the right agent for your needs. And finally, ask for recommendations from your network and seek direct feedback from existing customers where possible. Here are our contact details if you have any questions on anything we've talked about. We also have some free resources on our YouTube channel, PMP TV, and you're welcome to join our Facebook page called Investors Circular. Even if you are looking for an agent to manage your properties, you still might be interested in the resources we have to offer, especially the Landlord's Ultimate How-To Guide. So you do want to be an informed customer. As I said in the presentation, it's you that remains responsible for all the legal responsibilities. It's you as the property owner that will be picking up the bill and going to court if things go wrong. So even if you do want an agent to manage your properties, it is really important that you understand the day-to-day management responsibilities that you have as a property owner. So if you have any questions or want any more information about the resources we have to offer, please do get in touch.